of the most challenging things for gardeners in the early spring is the threat of freeze damage or frost, and of course of the two, freeze is far worse. Herbaceous plants like our beloved tulips and perennials and even some grasses are going to respond differently to really significant freezing temperatures than some of our woody plants. And while it's really devastating to have your tulips sort of go like this when they're just starting to flower, that's not nearly as troubling as what can be either long-term damage or even death in our woody plant material. A plant's tolerance of low temperatures depends first of all on its tolerance level. We have some plants that really can't tolerate anything even close to freezing. Others can actually go below freezing for a short period of time. A plant's ability to acclimate to those temperatures is very important. And of course, we start with the zone where should that plant be growing, and then it is environmental. So where in the landscape have you placed that plant? Is it in a place where the cold air settles and actually those frost or freeze pockets occur? Is it in a place where it gets warm and sunny? Everything blooms, everything breaks bud earlier. So again, we have issues associated with the ability of the plant to tolerate the freeze. Plants also will begin to show that damage in different ways. One of the unfortunate situations in a lot of Nebraska is we had temperatures that set record highs earlier in the winter, which caused plants to actually begin to come out of dormancy. Then we had lows, then we didn't have moisture, then we had highs again, setting record temperatures as plants were just beginning to break bud, and that is particularly true of the fruit trees, full flower, and then of course devastatingly low temperatures, so that is really, really tough on plants. What you will see oftentimes and first with plants is you'll see the death of the flower buds. Now it's hard to tell unless you take that bud apart and you look down into the bud itself to see whether or not you have darkness or damage. The same thing is true on foliage. And of course the question is, will those plants produce fruit? Maybe, maybe not. They may absolutely not produce fruit. It may be mushy inside. Ideally, what you will do is leave those plants alone and see how they grow out of it before you decide you're going to have to give up and start over again. Damage is going to be far less likely on plants that have not yet broken dormancy and on plants that are in a more protected microclimate where the temperatures did not get quite so cold, they didn't fluctuate quite as much. Perhaps the soil is a heavier clay, which is going to hold more moisture, which means the root system is also not going to freeze. And that's the really bad part about freeze damage, is of course the root system on plants. The quince lost its flowers. It's a tough plant, it will be fine. The choke cherry, of course, is native. It actually was getting ready to flower in different locations. Those flower buds and the foliage looks like a shepherd's crook. It really froze. That's unlikely to damage the plant entirely. And the great thing about plants is their resiliency. If they were chosen properly, put in the right place, managed properly, did not go into the winter too dry, and you are able to take care of them the way you're going to need to during the season.